Assalamu alaikum, peace be with you. I'm Imam Musri, the President of American Islam. Earlier today, we heard the horrible news of another mass shooting at a high school, this time at Santa Fe High School near Houston, Texas, where 10 people lost their lives and many more were injured. This kind of tragedy has become all too common. Meanwhile, our elected officials have failed to take the necessary action to prevent these types of mass shootings and to reduce gun violence in this country. And therefore, I want to call on all faith leaders to take on their responsibility to speak up against this culture of violence, to unite to protect lives. In the Quran, God tells us, whoever kills one person, it is as if he killed all of humanity. And whoever saves one life, it is as if he saved the lives of all the people. This is a principle. Preserving and protecting life should be the top priority for everybody, for faith leaders and for political leaders. And if our political leaders continue to fail taking action, then the responsibility falls on us as faith leaders to speak up, to unite the people, to correct this problem. Because we cannot go on as a society seeing one mass shooting after another, claiming young people who are about to graduate. We have seen enough. Since Columbine and Virginia Tech, and since Sandy Hook, where 20 little children were killed and 6 of their teachers, and where we have seen at Parkland High School 17 young people were killed, and we saw now 10 more at Santa Fe High School. Enough is enough. And therefore, as people of faith who celebrate life and want to fulfill God's will of protecting life, we say, let's unite and work together, speak up with one voice, demand from our government to take the correct action by making sure that the laws reflect the possibility of protecting lives. Right now, the National Rifle Association has a stronghold on our elected officials, that they are not even willing to debate or discuss the use of guns, or to expand background checks so that people with mental illness or with other types of background should be limited access to guns. And that's why I want to recommend the following. Until our elected officials decide to start debating this in Congress and taking the actions necessary and enacting the laws necessary, all parents should keep their children at home where they are safe and not send them to schools where these schools, instead of being safe zones, became killing zones, where we have seen that the NRA was successful right here in Florida in opening schools up to guns because they believe guns everywhere. Today, I saw outside my mosque a big billboard about an upcoming gun show where you can walk, anyone can walk and purchase a gun right there with hardly any background check done. Today, people can exchange guns and sell guns without having to report it, without doing background checks. This culture of violence is not acceptable. We have higher standards in this country. We do not allow doctors to prescribe medicine if they're not licensed. We do not allow people, pharmacists, to sell without license. While medicines are meant to help us because they might be harmful to us. But yet we allow guns to be sold any way possible without any checks. There are many people who own guns and they shouldn't be owning guns because they are mentally ill or they are not on a no-fly zone, and they can be, prevented from having guns. Except the gun lobby, the NRA, is stopping our elected officials from doing the right thing. So I would say, let's open up the courts and start suing the NRA and the gun manufacturers. Hold them responsible for the death of these people, these young people. Just as we will hold an airline responsible if we keep having crashes and losing people, just as we would hold drug companies responsible if they sell medicines that are killing people, just as we held the tobacco companies responsible when they were selling to young people, we need to hold the gun manufacturers responsible. If they don't feel the pain of it, they are not going to change their ways. They have the ability and the technology to make guns much safer. If you drive a car that keep crashing and killing people, you can sue them. And now we have many examples of mass shootings where the gun manufacturers are exempt from being sued. Why is that? That's not fair. They have to introduce the technologies that are available today. So lawful gun owners could be assured that when they go through background checks and training and they are able to purchase these guns, that they and only they can use these guns. We call on Congress to open up the laws so that gun manufacturers could be sued for their spreading of guns, for their gun sales, because they are profiting on behalf of the lost lives of the American people. These gun manufacturers should be able to improve these guns and restrict them so that only Americans who have undergone background checks and who have been trained to use these guns responsibly can use them, such as installing devices that detect the fingerprints of the person who is going to use it to match that of the gun owner, so that he or she would not be killed by their own gun when a criminal breaks in, so that their children would not be able to use it in schools, as happened with this shooting at Santa Fe High School, so that their children will not be able to shoot their siblings or their parents with their own guns. To prevent gun violence, to prevent guns on the streets that are stolen from being used, the gun manufacturers can and should install such technologies and make sure that they develop the necessary technology before this deadly weapon could be on the market again. I call on all responsible gun owners to stand with courage and to demand that guns should be improved and should be replaced. Guns are a defective product by nature because many guns have damaged their own owners when they misfired, when they were mishandled. And therefore, we want all rightful gun owners to join us to protect the future of guns in this country and to make it more safe and to prevent the mass shootings and to reduce the number of Americans who are being killed every year. As a person of faith, I cannot stand by and watch one massacre after another without speaking up. Therefore, I will support all efforts that would lead to a change of this culture of guns and to bring safety back to our schools, to our churches, mosques, and synagogues, and places of worship, to our airports, to our theaters, cafes, and restaurants. We, as Americans, have found a solution for every problem and every challenge that faced us before. And I believe strongly that we can meet this challenge head on and reduce the number of Americans who are killed every year in big percentage and save many lives. We should all unite in these United States to stop gun violence and to save lives. Thank you very much. Peace be with you.